thank you once again to everybody for joining us tonight. We have a special topic that I have been wanting to know more about for some time. I'm here with Kevin Allen Leversey and my pal Mike Holm. Kevin throwing up the Illuminati pyramid over there. So the topic that we have in store for you tonight takes us further down the rabbit hole, even deeper than our last topic, the underground military bases, to some creepy theories about why all these celebrities and high-profile figures are showing up in public with black eyes. Now, when this first got on my radar a few years back, I thought, okay, what's the big deal? I've got a black eye once, and I thought about it. I only had a black eye once in my life. What about you guys?
Well, and that's the thing, because I mean, if
you get them when you're young.
Yeah, you get them when you're young.
Yeah.
I had one black eye in my life as well. Like, I decided to catch a baseball with my right eyeball, which was awesome. But yeah, you know, if you think about it, all these people that are appearing in public with, I mean, not most of them, you know, it's not like I'm a little swollen.
Right.
I mean, it's like,
unless you're part of Fight Club.
Yeah, like you got hit in the face with a baseball bat. You know?
How often does the average person get and wear a black eye in their lifetime? So
I don't know.
It's really remarkable to me.
I don't know any adults with a black eye.
I can't say I've ever seen any of my adult friends or family with a black eye.
Last one I got was 2016, and I deserved it.
So to give you all an idea of what we're talking about, just in case you haven't seen these people show up in the press with a black eye yourself,
we got some. We obviously pulled some
picture. Yeah.
Hey, the only celebrity that I believe actually did get a black eye is Robert Downey Jr. because the picture he's in with that black eye, that dude looks hungover as hell. Now, okay.
This is one of the highest profile figures in public society, and he looks almost like he's proudly wearing this black eye. No attempt to conceal it with makeup. No attempt to really conceal it at all.
Yeah, it's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
So, and you know, it's not like the people that are showing up in public with these black eyes, it's not like they don't have access to the absolute best makeup and or special effects teams in the world.
Right.
So it's, you know, for people that are so hell-bent on maintaining their image and, you know, projecting this uber healthy, uber successful, you know, perfect lifestyle out on the world, it seems out of character that they would want to present themselves in that manner.
Right.
You hit the nail on the head, brother, when you said
why.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Why do they almost want to be seen in public with wearing this black eye, almost as if it's a badge of honor?
Yeah.
So, I thought, okay, maybe the real powers that be are sending a message to the individuals receiving the black eye and anybody else who's watching who is aware of their influence. But to my surprise, there's actually a few more theories about what's going on there. Why don't you give it to us, Mike?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, which we will get into, the main, I don't want to say the main, but probably the most popular theory right now, given what kind of information is being put out into the world right now. Probably the most popular is that basically it's part of an initiation ritual. that whether you want to call it the Illuminati, if you want to call it something else, it basically, okay, I don't know how familiar you guys are with street gangs. Most street gangs, I don't know from experience, but this is what I'm told, is fact that, you know, in order to join a street gang or certain street gangs, you basically have to be what they call jumped in or beat in, where, you know, essentially, I'm sorry?
Or you have to kill somebody. It's called blood in or blood out.
Yep. So basically, you know, the entire gang, they give you, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute. I don't know how long it is. But basically they just get to beat the shit out of you for an extended period of time. You're not allowed to defend yourself. And if you can withstand that and follow their rules the entire time, you're allowed to join the gang. So the most popular theory, like I said, is that it's some sort of initiation ritual into, you know, not just like the elite, but like the elite of the elite. I'm not, well, and I won't claim to know this as, you know, what it is, but, you know, I don't think that even these people that are appearing with these black eyes or are suspected of having gone through this initiation ritual, the majority of them, if not all of them, are still the puppets. They are not the top of the top.
Do you think they're all aware they're being initiated?
Yes.
Yes. According to that theory, yes, I do. Because, you know, basically what it does for them is it brings them into the upper echelon of the elite, where, you know, they're still expected to perform, and, you know, they're still expected to toe the corporate line, for lack of a better term. But at the same time, they are afforded many things, you know, basically untouchable by the law, luxuries beyond belief, wealth, protection from everything.
So this is like ritual hazing.
As long as they continue to toe the line.
This is like ritual hazing into a more or less secret fraternal group or elite club.
Yes.
And they willingly undergo this abuse.
Yes. I guess, like I said, that's probably the most popular one out there right now, and I think that we can kind of, I really don't want to say the term circle back, but that I started to say, and I really didn't want to, but yeah, we'll probably kind of come back around to that one. But really quickly, I just want to kind of touch on another theory that's out there, and this is actually one that I had. It at some point it had crossed my mind, but it was probably just for a brief second. And the first theory is the idea of consciousness transfer. So if you guys or anybody watching, if you've ever seen, there's a series on Netflix called Altered Carbon.
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen all of it. I'm one of those people, I kind of catch bits and pieces of everything.
This is extreme woo-woo territory for me. If you asked me, I don't believe that consciousness can be transferred. And I don't believe that it ever will be. However, I could appreciate that a simulacrum of consciousness or a facsimile of consciousness may be able to be, you know, simulated.
Okay, so you're like through AI.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Kind of like, yeah, exactly. I think that's a great analogy.
Okay, so not necessarily the consciousness itself, but more like a downloaded consciousness that can be accessed.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
like a facsimile. That's the because machine learning. I mean, because you can program from data sets from everything that we are and the decisions we make and our vocab. You can have machines sound exactly like me, learning from me, answering.
Yeah.
The Google call center stuff now is so freaky. And what I knew is 8 years old. It can remember your voice, inflections of voice, tone, and match
Speech
what you're
patterns.
saying, everything. And it sounds just like you talking to that person, but it's a voice prompt. And so they're saying that the next level of machine learning is when we reach the singularity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sorry to interject. It sounds like the next theory is has something to do with importing or exporting consciousness.
Essentially, before we get to the importing or exporting theory, I like how you put that. That just really quick on the idea of consciousness transfer. A lot of people believe that basically the ancient Egyptians believed that there was a soul and a spirit, okay, and that while they were two separate things, they were essentially one. Which leads into, there's some theories out there that the reasons that the pyramids were built in the fashion in which they were built, with kind of like the shafts going up and out, pointing to certain stars and that sort of thing. They believe that the pyramids were built in that particular shape and in that certain fashion in order to preserve the spirit and the consciousness. And then also the act of mummification, where you essentially delay the process of decomposition by a lot, actually, helps to retain that consciousness and spirit as well. And I didn't get too deeply into this one, but basically the theory states that they were under the belief that if you were to retain that consciousness and that spirit of a pharaoh upon death, they could utilize the mummification process and they could utilize the organizational structure, the organizational structure of the pyramid in order to actually transfer that consciousness into the new incoming pharaoh, so that as every pharaoh dies, a new one comes in, the wisdom from the very first pharaoh actually is passed along and it actually builds every time. So, you'd be looking at, say, the last known pharaoh in ancient Egypt would have the wisdom of every single pharaoh that came before him.
I would be like, get out of here, demon.
Yes. Be gone.
So there's that theory. And I mean, that one, upon doing a little bit more research about this, I had actually never heard that theory. So it was really interesting to me just because it is what it is. But another reason it was really interesting to me, my father actually got a master's degree in ancient Egyptian history.
Oh, wow.
He didn't go on to do that. But essentially when he was in high school and college, he wanted to be Indiana Jones. So the fact that, I kind of grew up around a lot of books with ancient Egyptian history and kind of that extra knowledge, that theory of consciousness transfer and the preserving of the consciousness and spirit really interested me. So
you are the original Alex Jones.
No. I wish
his father was like, into the government stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? I transferred Alex's consciousness and spirit into me. So anyway, that is the nice theory. That's the nicest theory we're going to talk about tonight.
We're not going to talk about the other one.
We'll start it off nice and light and breezy. The second theory that we should talk about is, like Tyler said, kind of how did you put it again? not uploading.
Importing and exporting.
Importing, yes, importing, exporting. So, there's a theory out there. I'll just kind of lay this flat out for you guys, and then we can talk about it. And I am looking at some of my notes here. But basically, there is a theory that the Vril Society, which is an ancient occult society, deep into magic and mysticism and that sort of thing. So the Vril Society, the Freemasons, and the Scientologists actually combined forces, and they formed what is now known as the Illuminati. In doing so, they developed underground facilities that are dedicated to cloning. So wrap your head around that first. But then if you look at,
well, if they can clone sheep,
yeah,
actually, logical deduction, they must be able to clone humans.
Yes, and actually, minutes before we jumped on this call, I was just kind of doing a little bit more research. I ran across an article that noted a company called CloneAid, like CLONAID. Their website no longer exists. It was apparently started by some sort of religious fanatic, but screenshots from their website when it existed, says, "Hey, we're the world leader in human cloning. This is how we do it." Blah blah blah. So, and I didn't have a chance to delve in deep into it, but it was pretty interesting.
They're doing human monkey hybrids from cloning in China, and that's on Scientific American. That's across everything. So,
and again,
Alex Jones.
That's right, and that's recently acknowledged in public.
Yeah, so that's what they're telling us.
Chimera. They exist. We have achieved humanities.
Yeah.
Humanities. Humanities, that's what they're called. And it's from Michael Crichton's Next. He did a ton of research on it. And that book in 2004 is what really opened my eyes to, because in his notes, he said human genetic tissue is the most expensive commodity on Earth. And it is widely known that it is traded amongst biotech firms, whatever.
And here people are sending in their genetic samples for background report on what ethnic groups they supposedly come from.
Well, that's DNA. This is stem cells from that which shall not be named, but is to stop the growth within a human mother.
Sure.
And they sell that tissue, and that the entire industry is built about that.
Yeah. Now,
I'm trying not to do this.
So how does this connect back to the black eye?
So the pineal gland, that's like what I think we're trying to get to, right?
Well, yeah, that's where we're going. So there's cloning as it's thought of by kind of the general public, I guess, where you think, okay, well, we make a replica, right? The cloning that we're talking about here is actually a little bit different, because it's not called cloning, it's actually called droning. Okay. So the theory is that the Vril, which are otherwise known as reptilians, so we're getting into the weird here, that the reptilians are actually planning to take over the earth. Okay. So what they do is they transfer a very, very small parasite into the eyeball of the person that they want to drone. And that is what causes the black eye. Okay. Is the actual insertion of this parasite. Now, what the parasite does, the parasite is basically a Vril as well. It's just a very, very microscopic.
That's some Wrath of Khan shit right there.
Version, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly.
That's the earwig things from the Wrath of Khan.
Yes. And so what it does is it wraps around, the main vessels that attach the eyes to the brain. It wraps around that vessel. It basically sinks its teeth in to basically, be a parasite, to use that blood source as a host. And in doing so, once that parasite actually enters the brain, it essentially, the body of the person is still there, okay, but the consciousness, the spirit, the actual person inhabiting that body is completely gone and completely overtaken by the Vril parasite, which eventually becomes a full-grown Vril controlling this body.
So are you saying that, according to this theory, this worm slowly develops
Assimilates.
into a full-grown reptilian?
I don't want to say
Wears this
full-grown.
body as a suit, or is it more that the parasite stays that size and controls the body from?
Look, we need to know.
It's
I need
kind
to
of
know.
I need to know. I live in the tropics, and there are parasites everywhere. I don't even want to describe it, but just if you got parasites, the answer to parasites is a bottle of rum and don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that the way that I understand it is, when the parasite, from what I've been reading and what I've been told, it essentially takes roughly 2 weeks for the parasite to completely take over the body, okay, to basically completely be in complete control of everything. So when I say that, like, it becomes like a full-grown reptilian, I don't really mean that like a reptilian has grown to its full self underneath the skin of the human. It's more of along the lines of like a shape-shifting aspect, where since the consciousness and the spirit of the Vril is just basically inhabiting the body, and since they originate from ancient mysticism, ancient magic, occult magic, dark magic, that shape-shifting is possible.
Okay.
But to answer, I don't know. I hope that clarifies it.
So once the parasites wormed its way into the host, then it can affect genetic alterations in the host body, with some of which take on the
form of a reptilian. Correct.
Form of a reptilian. Right.
So like you've seen the videos out there where it's like, oh, watch his eyeballs, he's getting reptile eyes.
Right. Yeah. The second pair of eyelids.
Yes, that's where we're going with all of this. So
okay.
And I'll be the first to say that a lot of the videos out there of the reptile eyes are just absolute bullshit. They're fun to watch though. I mean, it's it's fun to watch and fun to
get creeped out.
I love that one. I just love it because the dude looks like a reptilian.
So yeah, I mean, you're basically looking at a body snatcher type of scenario. And then if you look at, okay, you've got this, master race of reptilians that want to overtake the earth. What better people to overtake than the powerful and the influential?
Right.
So that's what we're looking at. Politicians
and the
media, when you could just take over, a few thousand or a few,
Exactly. And you want to take over the people that are basically they're already in a position of power or influence.
Yeah.
That the Vril basically furthering their agenda through this human body is the perfect opportunity, because you've already got somebody in that position. And I know this sounds absolutely crazy.
It doesn't, because North Carolina does not have gasoline right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling. This is really happening in real time. So I think
there is so much going on right now that I really don't think the reptilian agenda is that far-fetched.
Okay, so look at now. I'm noticing something else with these pictures.
Most of them are on the left eye.
Okay. And what else? They've got some sort of bandage
above the eyebrow.
or need a bandage over the left eye.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
I have no idea.
That I don't know.
I have no idea, but I do know that in 2019, just before the My Sharona, all the CEOs in almost all the countries resigned.
Yes.
So the elite.
That's the creepiest. Sorry to interrupt you. That's the creepiest damn picture I've ever seen.
Yeah, she looks crazy.
Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
She's writing in her diary, "Dear Dracula, they expect nothing."
Our work is almost complete.
I so wish to come home, but I'm not quite done yet.
All things being equal, whatever. Here's what I believe. Here goes Kevin. Here's what I believe, and I will try to keep
Hold on to your
concise. Myth is a archetype, right? So Jungian psychology talked about archetypes in human history and how we create archetypes that tell stories about behavior. The Greeks did this, the Romans did this, the Syrians did this, the ancient Jews did this in the Old Testament, right? And Joseph Campbell in his research, A Hero with 1,000 Faces, talks about monomyth, about how archetypes create our understanding and how archetypes are a valid way to understand ourselves with relation to the universe and the unseen world. I get it. I honestly believe that all these it's like the grand unifying theory, okay? So you've got the Illuminati, you've got the reptilians, you've got the, what did you call them, the Vril?
The Vril.
You've got the Vril. If I should be so bold to say, you've got, fundamental Christians and demons and Satan and all that stuff. So you've got all these different things that are really describing the same enchilada, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly believe with every atom and every particle and every wave of my being, because we're both particles and waves. Anyway, I believe with every bit of me that we are seeing a basic rundown between good and evil. And evil only exists because it's deception and it's manipulation. It's never out front. It's never blatant. And we're facing it right now. So whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it reptilian, if you want to call it Vril, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it, it is moving in our world. It's like a J.R.R. Tolkien book.
And it goes by many names.
Yeah. And it goes by many names, but it is still the darkness. And that is what we are fighting.
Well, I mean, with you saying that, I mean, that personifies shapeshifting right there.
Yeah.
The
most beautiful creature God ever created was Lucifer.
That's right.
Yep. So that's the very condensed version of the basically the reptilian body snatching theory.
By the way, Paul McHenry says this: the Dalai Lama told me on your deathbed you will achieve total consciousness.
And in true, I know Paul McHenry. Hey, Paul, what's up?
Hi, Paul.
Thanks for watching, dude. And he says, so I got that going for me.
Yeah.
Remember what Steve Jobs, how he died and what his words said?
I don't.
He said, wow.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He said what?
Wow.
He said, wow.
Oh.
So, but, I mean, as far as the consciousness transfer, I believe that there is in all being, all consciousness out there, whether it's downloadable, whether it's preserved, transferable. I'm not quite sure with the way that AI is going. we're starting to realize that yes, it probably is downloadable in some fashion.
There's many languages that exist to describe our universe and creation. Math is one of them. Physics is another. God is math. God is the ultimate solution set to the universe. Archetypes and myth describe God in another way.
Mm-hmm.
Scriptures describe the creator in a whole other way that we can all relate to. So I do believe that, absolutely, Mike.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. And Paul is asking, did I miss the explanation for all the black eyes? I think you kind of did, Paul. We're actually covering roughly 3 theories that might explain it. And we're about to get into basically the last 2. One of them we kind of already covered. We already discussed the Illuminati ritual. Probably.
Let me segue to that. I think we've got a perfect segue on screen here because it connects to the Egyptians. Now, besides being just a woman who should not be taking her clothes off on TV anymore, what does this black eye remind you of?
Epstein.
Have you seen this eye before?
That looks like the Eye of Horus to me.
It does.
Yes, it does. Yes. Epstein's Island.
There's a few other examples.
When I see Madonna, all I ever think of is Epstein's Island.
Now, to be fair with Richard Branson, he might have just gotten beat up somewhere because,
Yeah, that looks like he's got a punchable face. Listen, that dude. Now that dude.
Don't say his name.
His name.
Yeah, that dude.
Satan, Prince of Darkness. I don't sweat.
Could be it.
Look at that eye, perfect eye of Horus.
The only mother effer on the planet that doesn't sweat, huh? Meanwhile, all the pictures of him on ecstasy going like this. I know.
If anybody deserved a black eye, it's that guy. So yeah, I mean, some of the names we're saying, some of the names we're not. Just because. But why don't we kind of jump into the last one with this guy up on the screen? The last one has to do with again a certain conspiracy theory that seemed to have swept the United States of America, if not the whole world. Part of that larger conspiracy theory is the idea, the existence, and the uses of adrenochrome. So if anybody out there does not know what adrenochrome is, it's and I hope I explained this correctly, but it's basically adrenalized blood. When a person experiences intense excitement, intense fear, you get a rush of adrenaline, so that adrenaline releases into your blood. Now, the thought behind this is that the blood of young people and the adrenalized blood of young people is an extremely powerful drug. It creates, from what I'm told, again, and what I've read, it creates a high like none other, and it can also act as a prolonger of life. Whether that means, like you physically don't age, I believe that falls in there, but also that you are able to live longer as well. Without getting into too much detail on that, because we don't want to kind of go down that road. You're basically looking at people in positions of power that want to retain their power, or people in positions of great fame, which gives them great influence, wanting to stay that way.
Presuming elites have access to this drug,
which is real.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, it is real. It is definitely.
It's so
real.
powerful that it punches them in the face. I don't get how it connects to the black eye.
Okay. So before you answer that, Mike, I'll just say
sure.
In our Twitch, I put 2 published papers on how adrenochrome affects the behavior of mankind, where it comes from, and these are peer-reviewed empirical data, you guys. So it's a real drug. It's really harvested. It really does this, and it's really in high demand. And if you think I'm going crazy, even Hunter S. Thompson was writing about adrenochrome in the 60s and 70s during the big drug. Okay, so it's really a thing. So how do you get it? And Tyler and Mike hit the nail on the head. Even Hunter S. Thompson said it came from kids.
Yeah. You have to basically harvest the adrenochrome, either in the act of terrorizing the victim or killing the victim. So to answer your question about the black eye, Tyler, the thought is, or the theory is, that the black eye is actually as a result of the consumption of adrenochrome.
Why one side of the face? Why why not a symmetrical, body response to it?
You know what? That I actually was not able to find an answer. I've been digging around in this area for quite a while, and it seems like that is something that is never mentioned. So, given that fact, I tend to lean more on the side of maybe disbelieving this one. But that's what the theory is out there, that the black eye is as a result of consumption of adrenochrome, and the larger, or I guess the more severe the black eye, it means the better the high. Take that.
I can attest to that.
Take that however you will.
I can attest to that, but it was a different experience altogether. I think Burning Man was involved. Hey, Tyler, I sent you a message.
Okay. Personally, I tend to, if I'm going to believe any of these, I'm going to lean more towards the Illuminati ritual.
Hungover. Look at that. That dude is hungover. I believe he actually got in a fight. that dude. Of
course he got in a fight.
That dude was mouthing somebody and got punched in the face.
He's Iron Man.
Because of all these dudes, this is the dude that's actually absolutely hungover. Look at that dude.
So, but like I was saying, if I'm going to lean towards believing any of these, given kind of the lack of explanation as to why the consumption of adrenochrome causes a black eye, I kind of push that further away from me. But the Illuminati ritual thing seems, I know it sounds crazy, but it seems legitimate to me, because it's an initiation ritual. I mean,
that seems the most believable.
It seems the most plausible. I mean, if you start diving into some of the initiation rituals that are done even in like a common college fraternity, and then you kind of look at the elitist, fraternities that are out there, like Skull and Bones, that sort of thing, their initiation rituals are really, really intense. And getting into those clubs is a feat in itself, and it's something that these people are extremely proud of, and they wear it with pride. So why would they not want to show off to the world and show off to every other member, and even the people that are trying to get in, that, look, I got my black eye, I'm part of the club now? That seems the most plausible to me.
I agree with you on that one, 110%.
Yeah,
I absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, the black eye is, like we said, it's a badge of honor. It's letting everybody know that you've hit the upper echelon of the elite, and it also lets everybody below you that is aware of what the black eye actually means. It lets them know that, look, I'm actually one of your bosses now. So I mean, it gives them it sends a message that I have even more power now. I might be at the tippy top, but I have more power.
I have a question for you guys. And I'm just gonna. Okay, so correlation is not causation. We understand that.
Mhm.
At the same time, why all these symbols?
Yeah.
Why
And
the
you know what?
symbology, bros?
I'm glad that you brought that up, because if you look at, I mean, covers of magazines, album art, if any of you remember what an album is, you know, like a CD cover or something like that, music videos, people walking around at award shows, the symbolism is everywhere. I mean, everybody's doing this. You know, they're doing this. They're doing this. They're, you know, they're flashing this at some point. It's everywhere.
Bro,
Yeah,
remember
that's what we do to
Remember
them.
this
You know.
game? Do you remember this game?
Jesus, don't do that, man. Holy crap.
So anybody understands, I just didn't do a white power symbol.
I know,
I
I'm
did
joking.
the ball game. I did the ball game.
Yes.
That means if you look at this, you get punched by your buddies for looking at their balls.
That's right.
That's it. That's all it is.
That's
So
exactly what it is.
When the West Point guys are on TV and they're doing this, every guy that was ever in the military or in high school in America understood somebody got punched.
Yes.
That's all it was.
Yes. That was a game I played in high school.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you got people still goofing around, making their buddy look at their balls and then kicking them, and they think it's a white power symbol. It's not. So anyway, where were we? But yeah, the ritual one is that I think is the most plausible. I would probably lean towards believing that one the most. The body snatching theory, most people probably are going to stray away from that one. I don't, just because I'm an alien nut. And if you kind of look at all of the information that is coming out now on UFOs,
which seems to be almost daily.
Yeah, if not,
and that's another thing that's really
daily.
pissing me off, right? Because if this shit is interconnected and aliens really are,
well, okay,
what's going on with that?
Think about it this way. Predictive programming, okay? Basically, predictive programming, you get people used to something by putting little bits and pieces of it in their face every day, all right? So if we're looking at it from the aspect of predictive programming, you've got people of great influence, great power, flashing Illuminati symbols everywhere. You've got them getting black eyes. At the same time, you've got world economies falling apart. And in conjunction with that, you know, multiple stories and more information on the existence of UFOs is coming out at the same time. Put it all together. Put it all together.
Yeah, it's a conditioning technique.
Ron just said that even New Jersey.
And they're not just conditioning you, but they're associating the darkness with being cool.
Right.
Yes, exactly. You
Exactly.
want to be like us. You want to be like me, you know?
Yes.
When all the celebrities are flashing the pyramid and the 666, the eye, you know, especially young impressionable minds and those who are easily those who are followers come to associate their behavior with what's cool.
Yeah. Real quickly, I want to there's a comment here actually from my wife. She's a doctor of pharmacy, so she knows what she's talking about. She says rapid oxidation can cause adrenochromes to be unstable and cause auto-oxidation to its melanin degradation products, which equals a black eye.
Ooh, good find, Emily.
So that gives us an explanation as to why the consumption of adrenochrome might cause a black eye.
Holy shit.
Thank you, Em.
Yeah, good dig.
We need to have you on the show. You can be our medical expert.
All of a sudden, we go from the 12 people in there, 14 people, 40 people in their basement watching us to 4,000.
I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know if she would associate herself with my show.
Why
She has she has a reputation.
Why
to
ever
uphold, you
would
know?
she?
So anyway, thank you, Emily. From a medical perspective, I don't completely understand it, but I get it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, seems plausible.
Yeah. So back to, if you're looking at all of the UFO information, if you're looking at people with the black eyes, if you're looking at the symbolism, if you're looking at the general state of the world and who our youth are being led to look up to and want to emulate, if you look at each one of those things like in a silo, like with tunnel vision, yeah, it is what it is. But if you put them all together, it leads you to this, okay, there's some sort of elite alien thing going on, which very well could be.
I call it the desire paradox.
The desire paradox.
Yeah. So it's a book I've been working on for like 15 years. We are taught to desire something that we don't really want. It's actually the opposite of what we want.
Yeah.
So let's just break it down to culture. So look at who owns all the hip hop, all the gangster rap, all that. Who owns those labels? Huge corporations who are massively invested into what? Police services, private prisons, all of that. So they pump what benefits them but doesn't benefit you.
They're creating their ecosystem, Kevin.
Exactly. So and then look at the food industry, look at the pharmacy industry, look at the health industry, look at the financial industry for homes, student loans. Okay, so before World War II, homes and houses were usually purchased with cash or with a local bank loan or whatever. But as soon as it became federalized, as soon as it became, it destroyed the housing industry. Then look at insurance. It destroyed the medical industry. It destroyed the cars. So we've built so many layers of 100% bullshit on top of what we're doing, but we're sold it. So it's like diamonds. We're sold diamonds, but diamonds are really cheap, right? And so our entire world that we live in. It has been fabricated. We're told to desire it, but we don't really desire it. And if you look at like what do people really desire, they seek human connection, a life of meaning. Who am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there? And nothing that our world supplies on the popular level reaches that. That is why they want to ban churches. That's why they want to ostracize faith. That's why they want to remove us from human contact.
They want to focus on materialism and attention seeking.
Yes.
Well,
so
and you know what else?
You find it interesting that they're arresting pastors in Canada with SWAT teams and helicopters.
Yeah.
Inciting them to believe.
And I was going to say, Kevin, if you look at, talking about you're taught to desire, I would say not essentially what you don't want. A lot of people want a big house. A lot of people want fancy cars. A lot of people want money. A lot of people want everybody to like them.
Big houses and nice cars and stuff is not bad.
But hang on. But
empty lives are.
I'm talking about a want versus a need. So they're not taught to, or we are not taught to focus on what we need in order to survive and be happy. We're taught to focus on what we want, and what they are teaching you to want ultimately puts you in a mountain of debt. And what does debt give them?
In debt
Power
to who?
Control. It gives them control.
Right. And then not only that, there's a really good book published in 2000. It's a British book, and it was this massive dude. I can't even remember the guy's name. And it is called The New Barbarians. And The New Barbarians, he said, were IT thought leaders. This is before crypto. That would have their banking into satellites to be away from local government control. Because he said within the next 20 years, all the countries, because they have to, are going to lock down their citizenry because they cannot have a free people roaming the earth. because they need to lock down economic systems and tie people to those economic systems. And so it's called The New Barbarian. And it is a powerful book. It's a deep read because it came from Oxford University. It's very hard to read. It's your brain. And I read this 21 years ago. And that's what's going on now.
I'm going to look into that book. That sounds really ahead of its time.
Yeah, it does.
And the sad part is it probably wasn't.
Well, yeah. At the time, I'm guessing that at the time, most people that, scholars and the people that supposedly knew what they were talking about, they probably wrote this person off as somewhat of a crazy person. I don't know that for a fact, but that's usually what happens. So what are we at for time?
Well, we are well over. We're about 10 minutes past.
Okay. You know what? I think we should probably wrap this up. I think we covered the theories pretty well. And, there's a lot more that goes. This goes much, much deeper than what we've talked about here. But to be honest with everybody that might be watching or listening, we would love to talk about that deeper stuff. Given some recent events in this group we got going here, we're going to steer clear of particular topics, at least for a while. So, but I would urge everybody to do some research, do some further digging, and find out what you think. Because if somebody tells you this, 30-second elevator pitch, it's like, oh yeah, they have black eyes because, there's body snatchers and they implanted in their brain, and then they're reptilians and they're on the news and they're in politics and they're going to take over the world. You're going, I got to get out of this fucking elevator with this guy.
I know it sounds far out, but
sounds very far out. But
we live in the age of the far out. If you had told people 100 years ago that
5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
4 years ago, 3 years ago, that we would have all the technology we do at our fingertips, they would call you crazy. And they did.
We are living the Hegelian dialectic, you guys. We're definitely living it. Color pivoting is policy today.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, and I think I said this in one of our previous podcasts, where I used to be a person that, I'd look at something at face value and kind of go, well, that sounds like bullshit. But now, don't, until you've actually dug deeper and looked at it from different angles and connected the dots, I wouldn't be so quick to write it off. Because like you said, look at technology. Nobody would ever believe that we are where we are. And with kind of all those things that we mentioned, if you don't take it as a single piece of pie, if you look at the pie as a whole, it really fits together pretty nicely.
Yeah, a lot of the pieces seem to fit together.
Yeah. So
if any of you all would like to join the Black Eye Club and announce your membership in public, you can buy this cool shirt at threadweird.com. It says, I got my black eye at Davos, and all I got was the stupid t-shirt.
That's meant to really mock the Black Eye Club.
Oh, you mean I'm not an official card-carrying member by buying the shirt? I was hoping to just skip past the whole punch in the face part.
I'm not gonna I guess pass judgment on who purchases the shirt. So I think it's a funny shirt, because if I saw somebody walking down the street wearing that, I would laugh my ass off and probably see if the guy wants to go have a beer.
Yeah.
Because he's got some stuff to talk about.
Says, I got my black eye at Davos.
Oh, we're hearing the echo. But anyway, guys, why don't we wrap this one up? And this is I think this is probably maybe not the Black Eye Club in particular, but the topics surrounding it, I think, are worth further discussion, especially as this shit show unfolds and more information comes out.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And
yeah, today was a lot of fun. I've been so busy talking to people. We're definitely getting a lot more traction.
Yeah. Thanks for all the chats and messages. Really appreciate that. It's nice to have a.
What's our schedule like?
Oh, thanks, Ron.
So that people, total shit show. Thank you, Ron. I love you. You're honest.
Yeah.
So
in terms of schedule, I don't think we really have a set schedule yet.
That would help our marketing.
It probably would. I think what we're probably looking at is like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:00. Not only, mainly due to the fact that we also have lives. Some of us have children and things to take care of. But also, as some of the topics that we're going to discuss, it might be something that I haven't really, or you guys haven't really dug into in a while, or in some cases really had the chance to dig into it all. So it gives us, a day in between and a weekend of rest to kind of gather some more information and make it the best possible for anybody listening. So as of right now, I would say, let's go ahead with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:00 is where we're going to be live. And then obviously, if you can't catch that, we do have the links available on, I know I've got them on the Thread Weird Instagram. If you click the link in the bio, all the links are in there where you can watch a replay. Or just head out to threadweird.com and shoot me a message and say, hey, dude, send me the links. I want to watch some of the old stuff. So I'll send them right over to you.
Paul wants us to talk about the Brown Eye Club.
We'd have to, yeah. We're not going to talk about that one. Maybe on a different network. So anyway, thank you guys for listening, and we'll plan to see you all again, same place, same time on Wednesday.
Thanks again.
Take care.